Let me ask you, I was just talking earlier about Strauss and Howe in the fourth turning.
Yes.
Do you know John Xenakis and generational dynamics?
No, explain it.
You need to get into this guy. When I was helping Andrew Breitbart put together a big piece, he was the first guy that I reached out to, John Xenakis, who has a website called Generational Dynamics. Basically, the Strauss and Howe thesis is that America has four turns, and it keeps
seasons.
Keeps going different seasons of generations.
So just we'll give for people who aren't familiar, the real quick is you get a period of what is it of after a crisis. There's like a great growth, then there's a period of sort of like the high, we level off, then things start to shake, then you get a crisis. Then it goes, after the crisis, things get better again.
Right.
So there's 4 stages, and if you go back from now, like 80 years, you had World War II. Before that, you had the Civil War. Before that, you had the Revolutionary War.
It's a cycle of approximately 80 years.
So we're in the fourth turning right now.
Right.
So anyway, continue.
Anyway, yeah. So, which isn't...
Real quick, sorry. Which means we should be expecting a very serious crisis on the scale of war within the next 7 years.
Right. Generational crisis period. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not new. He's taking the cycle of regimes and he's compressing it and looking at it a different way. Anyway, what Xenakis was doing was he's applying this to international affairs. So if you're looking at, like, America is following along one particular rotation. Let's say you're talking about America and England. England has its own rotation.
Right.
Iraq has its own rotation. So it enables you to predict what is going to happen in war and in these things. Well, no, I mean it's a methodology more than a particular.
I think there's going to be a collapse. If you look at this Strauss-Howe generational theory, whether it's true or not, I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence that we've had these periods. And often, people point out, like, what about Korean War, about Vietnam, what about, Iraq and Afghanistan? Where do these fit into these theories and things like that? So maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But I do see when you have the Democrats lying and it is relentless, it is a zombie horde. They never stop. There's no break. There's no calm. There's no peace. There's no compromise. And the best part is they wield the propaganda machines and the big tech establishment to claim it's the Republicans who are doing that when the Republicans are sleeping on the job. So what happens is I sit here every day. At best, they're sleeping on the job. Yeah, some of them are just absent. So I sit here every day watching the news and I'm like, here we go again. The Democrats are lying about everything. And the Republicans some of them are agreeing with the Democrats and the rest of them are just sitting there acting like speed bumps. So you watch them. You watch the empire taking control. And I really want to stress a point I've been making all week. When people would say, how did Nazi Germany get so bad? Where everybody's doing the Roman salute. People in this country for the past year have been doing the red salute on marches in the thousands, defying the edicts of the governors in which conservatives got arrested because they were defying the mandates. Yet these red saluting extremists and regular people who joined in get a pass. They didn't wear masks. They didn't lock down, and nothing was done about it. And when you look at New York, what did de Blasio say? Well, they're allowed to do that. But what happened when the conservatives stood on the steps of the Michigan State House waving a little Gadsden flag?
Oh, it was a terrorist attack. Yeah.
We'll have to be careful because the people doing the red salute could be, if you look at World War II metaphor, the communists, that they developed the Nazi Party to counter. So we got to be careful that we don't end up creating a movement to counter this woke mob that ends up becoming the dangerous Nazis.
I don't think there's anything you can do about it, man.
Nope. What do you mean? Of course we can.
No.
We're creating it as we go.
No, see, what happens is for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. When you get thousands of people marching through the streets doing the red salute, don't be surprised when you get a counter force.
It is equal. You'll have an energetically equal response, but the way it manifests is up to us. It could be violent. It could be peaceful. It could be organized. It could be chaotic.
It's going to be the exact same thing.
I don't think so. It shows itself in different ways. It might be another party, like you saw the Proud Boys, kind of, but that floundered more or less. I don't know.
They got crushed by the state.
Yeah.
And Antifa is protected by the
state. Anything that comes up from the right that looks anything like Antifa is going to be crushed.
Yeah,
they
don't want another Nazi party.
That's exactly what January 6th is about.
Nobody wants that. Right.
That's what it's about.
Exactly.
It's in order to stop that, and frankly, it's in order to stop any more rallies.
Right.
I mean, people are afraid to have rallies.
You have a rally, and they're going to make the claim, January 6th, January 6th,
Correct.
oh no. Yep.
Correct. And they have, I mean, part of, in my kind of past life, I was doing terrorism analysis, and so I'm kind of intimately familiar with what they're about to do to us here, which is, they've already created these absurd metrics. They've already created, ideological screens and tests for who is a terrorist, and all of us here, frankly, fall under it.
Oh yeah.
And and this is how they will justify. I mean, this is how they will justify using social media companies,
right,
to go after us. Financial institutions, things like that.
So it's clever.
Bad. It's very bad.
You look back at history, and you can see the assassination plots against certain, according to the government, the undesirable figures, the activists who are leading the charges for social change and stuff. So they straight up killed people. But at a certain point, they realized you create martyrs, you make people immortal.
Right.
Then we see Julian Assange. What do they do to him? Character assassination.
Keep him in a box.
Character assassination. Destroy his legacy. Now, the left that used to love the man, hate the man. They despise him. He's a rapist. It's not true. Read the news. It's all clearly fake and made up. And then lock him in a box and let him slowly die, a slow and miserable death. Julian Assange did a bunch of really great work exposing a lot of the corruption. And so they figured out the best way to deal with him is to make sure he'll never be a martyr. Don't let him die. Let him slowly rot away and lose his mental faculties, and then accuse him of extremely heinous crimes so that people are scared to say they support him. And that's what's in store for everybody else. But it also means that there's not going to be trains. They're not going to round people up. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to shut off your credit card, and then you're going to starve. And then they're going to say, well, but it's a private company. Oh, but, go use your U.S. dollars. Go buy, but the store doesn't take cash. Well, that's too bad. Maybe you shouldn't be a bigot.
My friend just lost her PayPal. Why? She has no idea. Gone.
Yep.
She's public and on the right. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And,
take away your access to banking, which
yes.
they've done to the Proud Boys. They've done to a bunch of groups. It's amazing. It's happening, and it's getting worse every day. What did they say yesterday? Gradually, and then suddenly, someone said in the super chats.
Yeah, Hemingway.
And it's remarkable
That's my line. It comes from Hemingway.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's how do you go broke?
Yep.
Gradually and then suddenly, from a movable feast.
So what we have now is, I don't think it's the night is always darkest before the dawn, but I don't think it's completely hopeless. I think what will happen is there will be a collapse. I think the states will split apart. I think Florida, Ron DeSantis is, I know people who, if I have a friend who's moving, you know where they're moving to? Texas or Florida.
Sure.
Yep. And I'm like, come on, West Virginia, what are you doing?
Look, how do you compete with? I
got mansion though.
How do you compete with the beach? It's very hard.
Yeah, but the weather, it's so humid.
It's
so hot.
It's very hard.
It's like 10,000 degrees.
Literally.
Like I swear, I saw someone just like burst into flames, spontaneously combust once when I was in Miami, and I'm like, ah! And like I had to run to shade. As like, have you seen the core, where they go to the center of the earth to reset the core? There's a scene where like
so it's a documentary.
Yeah. There's a scene where like because the magnetosphere is weak, solar microwaves beam through, and it's like this beam is just melting like the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's collapsing because it's so hot. That's like Miami.
It's like that, yeah.
Like you're just walking on the beach, you
Just
see
like that.
everyone
Just like
runs
that.
from the sun, and people are just being melted. And no, it's not that bad. But they're going to Florida and Texas because of the laws. Because Florida and Texas are actually protecting individual rights and resisting all this stuff. You look at these blue states, that's bad. And what's really bad is the stuff we're talking about with the cult. It's blue states putting in people at the federal level who then exert authority over red states. Makes no sense.
Or like
somebody in West Virginia wants to go hunt feral hogs with their buddy down the street, and they lend him a gun. It's fine. Not in the blue states.
I think that we've been negligent about a lot of about a lot of local politics in this country. We have this every 4 years. We have this big nonsense going on in Washington, D.C. about who gets to be the president. We've got big nonsense every 2 years about Congress, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody knows who their senator, people know maybe who their senator is. Nobody knows who their representative is. Nobody knows who the mayor is, et cetera, et cetera. We in red states need to
Local
sit down
politics.
and get into this. Yes.
Local.
Yes.
All the way.
People ask me, do you think so-and-so will be, will run for the House? Or blah, blah. Who cares? I don't care.
You know what really bothered me? A lot of Republicans did this too. They were like, our district is bad, and if you vote for me, I'll fix the district. And I'm like, no, you won't, because you're a federal politician. The person who's going to fix the district is the alderman or the local state senator or state rep. The person running for Congress is going to go to the federal government to represent your district to the federal government. They're going to be voting on war, not voting on whether or not to clean up the trash in your neighborhood. But they all run on this.
Yep.
What do they say? Like, I'll get federal money for you?
No, that's often vague. It's like, if you look at our district, you can see how bad things have gotten with crime on the rise. And I'm like, I don't care. You don't represent those problems. The local politicians do. You're going to go to D.C., and they're going to ask you, should we bomb this country? And you're representing this district as to whether or not we bomb the country. And they're going to vote yes.
I think the nice thing about the internet is that you can do the local politics and show the world how it's done with internet video, and then they can emulate it. So you kind of create a decentralized organizational pattern where we can make a really cool YouTube show about what it's like to run local government. And then the next city will be like, I want to do that too. And then all over the world at once.
I've got a solution to all of our political problems. I call it Marsism.
Yes.
And we need Elon Musk to help create this new form of government. It's very simple. Every time someone runs for office at the federal level and wins, they go onto a ship which sends them to Mars. That's it.
That's a long commute to work.
No, they just go to Mars.
They just go.
We just
Move the government.
No, the government, the individuals who win. It's like, yay, get in the ship.
Go,
bye.
Go. What if it's better on Mars?
That's great. Good for them. They'll have a good time, right? And then we won't have them to bug us.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
Nancy Pelosi, you've won for the 30th time. Here's your rocket ship. Thank you, Elon. And then she gets in, and it's like, you know what we do?
I would do that to the teachers' unions first.
Oh, yeah.
We put
that would be fun.
The Capitol building. I got an idea. This January 6th thing, it's real bad. All right, these people, this insurrection. I know how to prevent it. Have the Capitol building be on Mars. Boom. Send all of those people to Mars, and they can talk amongst themselves and vote how they so choose. And they'll never have to worry about an insurrection ever again.
Reasonable.
I think you're so right about that we need new industry, that we need new banking and new social media. I think I see like a government free software social media service that's like based on the First Amendment, the Constitution, and like a banking system like on the blockchain. Like
do it at a local level. Florida should make it. No joke.
And then extrapolate it.
Everybody has a role to play. Think about this. Donald Trump received how many votes in 2020? Like what?
74.2.
74.2. That's about the population of France.
It's more than France, isn't it?
Right? So, okay.
Isn't France like 66?
So how many businesses provide things for the French consumer? A lot. This is a big market. I mean, it's not a small number of people.
Texas, Florida, here's what you do. You pass a bill right now that will create a Florida social network. Boom.
That'd be epic.
Look, Hungary just did this.
Yeah.
They just created their own social network
Hungry Space.
that is familiar to Facebook.
Hungry Book.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just trying to get off the ground. But you're going to need this type of thing.
Yep.
You're going to need this type of thing.
People wouldn't use it. Right. But here, I guess the problem is Trump had the opportunity to change the game, and he decided not to.
Exactly.
He didn't
exactly.
know.
Trump needed to do one thing. Trump could have went on Gab and said, hi.
Yep.
And that would have been a shockwave.
I think about that with myself, too. I use Twitter often. And I'm like, why don't I just post on mine?
It's not that. It's that Trump commanded
Trump,
the news.
Correct. Exactly.
And so if Trump went on Parler, Gab, or Minds, or any platform and said, I am going to send a spaceship to the moon, the media would be forced to report on, Gab.
Yes.
Donald Trump said this. And the reporters would be forced to sign up to follow him. And Trump would not do it. And I guess it was because Jared Kushner, who was just like, don't do it, Donald. Don't change. Don't take the power away from Silicon Valley.
I'm not sure that was the case. I mean,
the reporting was that Trump wanted to use Parler and Kushner said not to. So I don't know. Maybe it's not true.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to know the ins and outs of that, but But look, it's absolutely inexcusable what he did.
And this is why I think DeSantis should run in 2024 and not Trump. And I wonder where's Trump Jr. to go to his dad and be like, Dad, get on Gab like right now. And
isn't it too late?
Oh, it's way too late.
It's way.
And not only that, instead of doing any of that, he could still do it. It wouldn't matter as much. He just makes his own website. Talk about somebody who just absolutely
cringe.
So it's unfortunate that was the best the anti-establishment had to offer.
But this was a problem throughout the Trump years, which was that he consistently empowered. I mean, look, you're the president of the United States. You can say, I'm going to talk to whoever, whichever media outlet I want, and in so doing, you will elevate this outlet. Well, who did he go to? He talked to New York Times, Washington Post.
Yes.
Yeah.
Haberman, he was on the phone with her all hours of the night. It was reported. Like, I'm sorry. Call the Federalist. Call the Daily Caller.
Yeah.
There's no law that says the New York Times and the Washington Post need to have access.
It's because Republicans, Trump included, care more about what the New York Times thinks about them than their own constituents. Maybe not so much for Trump, but for the Republicans, yes. So the New York Times comes out and says, this politician, look at Ted Cruz, right, when he went on vacation, and then he flew back because the media was yelling at him. That's so lame. What a loser.
You think he should have stayed?
I like Ted Cruz, so I'll take that one back. But it was pathetic. It was one of the most pathetic
things.
things.
It's like having a car that's kind of beat up and crappy.
I would if I went on vacation during a storm or whatever, and the media got mad, I'd get a cigar. What are those things called where you clip the cigar with it? You know what I mean?
Clipper.
I don't know anything about cigars, but I'd get one anyway. I'd get like a velvet or
smoking jacket.
Yeah.
No, like a robe.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh, okay, yeah. And then I turn the video on while I'm in whatever place. I put my feet up. I clip the cigar. I'd light it, and that's it.
Well, look, that's how
media.
That's how you have to do it, because you need to give them at least as much contempt as they give you.
Just stop bending the knee.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.